If you've been around the social medias, or maybe you were just on YouTube, you would have noticed there was a trailer for the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot from Seth Rogen, and it's garnered a little bit of backlash from fans, specifically the racial identity of April O'Neil. And here to talk to me about that is Aaron Sparrow. How you doing, Aaron?
Doing well, Wes. How are you doing today?
I'm not doing too bad. Listen, for the most part, I don't really get my panties in a bunch about this kind of stuff. You know, you want to do something with Ariel from Little Mermaid. Hey, I liked Under the Sea. I like Sebastian, but I don't really care. You want to mess with Velma? I like Scooby-Doo, but it doesn't really mean that much to me. But when you start fucking with TMNT, you're in my world now. We're talking about comic book characters, and we're also in your world because we're talking about toys. And we are going to set the record straight because April O'Neil was never black. This is the dumbest debate I've ever heard in my life.
No, it's one of those things that people who don't know the property, try and pull out, while they're trying to prove that they're super fans and dunk on the people that are actually fans, so they put on their, their masquerade suit and pretend to be a fan and go, well, actually, April O'Neil was always black, and they pull some very spurious sources and put the narrative out there. Unfortunately, real fans come back real quick and debunk it.
We'll wrap a bow on that debate here real quick. But I do want to talk about some of the weird stuff going on, specifically this article from daily.com from writer Gavia Baker Whitelaw called Why Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Fans Are Fighting Over April O'Neil's Ethnicity in the New Movie, in which she says, this casting has attracted a familiar brand of petty racist backlash, along with an unexpectedly deep dive into April O'Neil's depiction in early TMNT canon. Basically, some fans argue that April was meant to be black or biracial in the original comics, and was subsequently whitewashed in later canon. Created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird in 1983, the TMNT franchise began as an indie comic series parodying DC Marvel superheroes. April is the most prominent human character, and in the comics, which were illustrated in black and white, her appearance was racially ambiguous. Well, sure, when it was in black and white, because, they weren't colored images. The unfortunate thing that dipshits like Gavia Baker Whitelaw and all the Johnny-come-latelys that actually don't know
just her name. Just her name. You hear her name and you go, oh, this is going to be some shit.
You got to roll your eyes. But all these Johnny-come-latelys that don't know anything about TMNT, there was one thing that wasn't just in black and white, always the fucking cover. And on the cover of issue number 2, quite prominently is April O'Neil. And guess what color her hair is? Fucking red. She was always meant to be a redheaded character. Like, get out of here with this stuff.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. What they cite a later issue where, Kevin wanted her to look more like his mixed race girlfriend, and so
her look did change over time as Kevin changed girlfriends. Yes.
Yeah, he would always kind of like adapt it to whoever he was dating. And Peter Laird was less a fan of that. So but it's explained in the story very clearly. She went and she got a perm, which was a hairstyle that was very prominent in the 80s.
Absolutely.
Not one
My mom had one.
Enjoyed, but she got a perm, and that she'd done some tanning. So that was how they got around changing her to be more like Kevin's current girlfriend, which is silly, but that's what happened.
But to go out there and just say anyone that has a disagreement on the racial identity of April O'Neil, knowing that actually she was originally a redhead because it's plain as day, has to be a racist. That's what we've come to, Aaron.
Well, it's the only argument that they have to defend, what is inherently a really stupid practice, which is race swapping characters around. It's very lazy. Instead of creating you want a black character in the new TMNT movie? Cool, create one. But they don't.
Well, you've already got one. You got the scientist.
You got Baxter Stockman, and you got Bebop. Nobody's talking about the fact that Bebop's been whitewashed so that Seth Rogen can play him. Nobody's talking about that. But I don't like that either. When the Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie was announced, and it came out that William Fichtner was Shredder. It was a white businessman that was Shredder. And fans lost their shit and demanded that he be Japanese. And they actually had to go back and bring in a Japanese actor and shoot additional scenes to correct that. So no, it's not racism. What it is people want the thing that they like. They don't want to see a bastardized or changed version of it. You can play around with certain things in the formula, but the characters have to remain as the characters that we recognize. And that goes for black characters as well. I'm not happy that Bebop is being played by a white guy. Bebop's originally black. Like, why would you change that? Why not just keep it that way? That's very, Baxter Stockman. They changed it in the original cartoon for God knows what reason. And, as a comic fan, when I read it, I was like, or when I saw the cartoon, I was like, well, that's not Baxter Stockman. But it also really wasn't the Turtles that I was used to. So I kind of had to adjust that in my mind. But yeah, I wasn't happy about that either. I wasn't happy when Terry Fitzgerald was made a white guy in the Spawn movie. I want the characters as they're presented in the medium that created them.
Why did they even make this? This dude hasn't done anything creative that's been successful in like 15 years. I think the last thing he was associated with that was successful was like Superbad.
Which I walked out of, by the way. just so everybody knows. I don't know.
You were offended?
It
was too much for you?
Yeah, no, I got up and I was like, this is not funny. This is just, I don't find just vulgarity funny. Like Sausage Party, once you get past the initial shock of these cartoon characters cursing, there's nothing else there. There's no.
No, I actually watched out of that. I walked out of that movie because it was so bad. I was like, the premise is good, but the execution is so bad.
Listen, it's good for your lowest common denominator audience. I don't think that there's a new dick joke under the sun, but you know what? There's still people that go, at the same old jokes. So it's for that lowest common denominator audience, and that's fine. You can make some money doing that, but don't hand that the people that make the dumbest shit these beloved IPs. Fortunately for Turtles, it's an evergreen property. It's survived Michael Bay. It can survive Seth Rogen. Maybe the movie will be good. Who knows? In other aspects, who knows? But it can survive. But not every IP has that opportunity. You do a bad He-Man show, and then Hollywood doesn't want to touch He-Man for 25 years. And, fans aren't going to get anything new.
The writer was not done with the article. She then says, the people who post YouTube rants about woke children's cartoons are not motivated by rational concerns. They're not actually defending the sanctity of a franchise whose previous films averaged a 31% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. In reality, they just don't want to see black people in a movie. And arguments like it's non-canonical or redheads are being erased from Hollywood provide a convenient excuse for racism. This is just all gaslighting bullshit because she actually can't defend the argument, because when you go to the original materials, when you see what the character's supposed to look like, you look like an idiot because you're arguing absolutely nothing. It's plain as day what it is, but they just go to emotion. Oh, you're a racist. You just don't want black people in movies. It's like, this is the dumbest shit in the world.
Well, activists know that their thesis can't hold up to any scrutiny. So what they have to do is they have to build a straw man, and then they have to paint everybody with a broad brush. And by doing that, they don't have to listen to your actual logical argument because they've already dismissed you as a racist. So everything that you say doesn't really have to be heeded or listened to. It's a really pathetic tactic, but it's one that gets deployed, especially in media, again and again and again as these things continue to happen. Like Mark Brooks tweeted about it, so, oh, aren't I a good look? Hey guys, look, I'm on the right side.
He also called everyone a racist. He's a comic pro. He knows that character is canonically redhead.
I don't think he does know that. I think he saw that, those images, and he was like, oh, April was always black. I'm going to dunk on the chuds. I'm going to show how smart I am. But you're not smart, Mark. You're not clever. You got duped. You put out wrong information, and you made yourself look like a jackass again. Just stop. It's fine.
And he ended up having to delete the tweet because people came back and were like, you're an idiot. You're supposed to be somebody in the comic book industry, and you're making yourself look stupid here. So he deletes it. And then he comes back trying to be pithy, I guess, and says, yeah, if you want good engagement, say something that's going to get people upset. Knowing that he already deleted the tweet because he said something wrong, that's not engagement. That's an indictment on how stupid you are because you got ratioed by the people that are in the same hobby that you are. You're supposed to be a comic artist. Now, instead of being the world's greatest wet comic book cover artist of all time, he's just the guy with the really stupid fucking takes now.
Yeah, no, I mean that's his brand now. It's unfortunate. I don't expect every comic pro to know every little bit of minutia about every comic that's out there. But if you don't know, don't shoot your mouth off. Don't jump into an argument. Don't run your mouth about something that you have no idea about. And then when you get proven wrong, if you did make the mistake of running your mouth, say, oh, hey, I was wrong about that. What do you know? Take the L. Take the L. It's not that hard. People are in the comic industry are very forgiving. Comic fans are very forgiving. You say, oh, hey, guys, I saw some stuff online. I don't really know the Turtles. I was kind of talking out of my ass. And people will be like, all right, fine. You were talking out of your ass. It's not that.
But now he's acting like he did it on purpose. Oh, I was just looking for engagement.
Well, that's because Mark Brooks' ego cannot take being wrong. He's wrong all the time, but he can't take it.
Well, yeah, he certainly can't admit it, but it's just stupid. This is the dumbest argument.
Which is Coca-Cola products, apparently.
This is the dumbest argument in the history of the world. It's easily provable one way or the other. They try to make it sound like it's ambiguous, but it's really not. Issue 2 has a cover featuring April O'Neil. The cover is in color. It's right there from like 1980 fucking 6 or was it 1983? I can't remember. It's one of those years. It's right there in living color on what the character is supposed to look like. Yet we're all being called racist and saying all this just mean stuff about people for nothing, for no reason whatsoever, because Seth Rogen went out of his way to make a character look stupid. That's not even a good version of a black version of April O'Neil. There's been a better one.
Yeah, there's already been a better one. You could have done a nice version of this. You could have, had April be black. She could have had red hair. People would have been like, okay. But you could have made her attractive. Instead, you made her the same shape as the turtles. It's insulting. It's this kind of like level of like weird progressive racism that seems to permeate things. It's like, look, we made April black, and it's like, yeah, but you didn't. You also stripped away the attractiveness of April O'Neil. Why does making her black also mean that she has to be grumpy and unattractive? Why is that? Why couldn't she have been an attractive black character? Why
can't she have a nice body?
If you're going to make these changes, make them aspirational at least.
I don't know what people were expecting. When they said Seth Rogen's making a TMNT thing, I was like, well, there's something I'm not going to watch, even though I like TMNT. And the controversy's out there, which is what they're recording. There's a reason that they made this change. It's not because that's how Seth Rogen always saw the character. It's because when they released the first trailer, he wanted the people to argue about it on YouTube and Twitter. Well, congratulations, you got it. And you made a lot of your friends look stupid when they try to defend you.
Maybe it'll make money. It's certainly got that Spider-Verse animation style. They certainly grabbed that and stitched it onto the turtles, which I think, kind of works for them, being, more, kind of gritty street level heroes. Maybe it'll find an audience, but right out of the gate, I think that there's just a lot of things wrong with it. A lot of things wrong with the way that everything's just kind of being shifted, and the way that characters are being changed just for arbitrary reasons. I think that what we need to do as creators is we need to be creating characters that are minority representative, that are actually good characters in their own right, and aren't just being, just a skin of something with another character, a white character stuffed into it. I don't think that that's fair to the people that want this representation. I don't think it's fair to the people that are represented by it. I think that, we need to take a long, hard look at how these things are being done and make some course corrections.
Believe me, this will not be the last time you're going to be seeing race swaps of major comic book characters. In fact, get ready, because the X-Men, when they relaunch under the MCU and Disney, will have plenty of race swaps. We've heard from insiders. They're already testing it out right now. It's going to be happening left and right in the new X-Men when it actually launches. If you haven't seen this, definitely check out this video. There's also a link in the video description.